بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أحمده وأصلي على رسول الكريم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه اللهم ألهمنا رشدنا وعزنا من شرور أنفسنا آمين يا رب العالمين. So Sheikh Sudais has a beautiful voice, makes dua for the people of Gaza, and then he says, don't let the situation, he says, don't let the fitna of what's happening in Gaza become a reason for you to stand up against your leaders. Sheikh Sudais says that your leader has a better understanding of the world than you do, so don't involve yourself in things you don't have to say. Not only Sheikh Sudais said this, but the same message was given from the member of the Prophet ﷺ just a few days ago. And then so many people had hopes in Hassan Nasrullah's speech that he would come and he would say something and he would do something and he would bring about another phase of this whole situation, and his speech was basically a flat tire. And then you have Sisi, who's not willing to open up his borders and even give water to the people of Palestine. He's not willing to open up the borders to do anything good for the people of Palestine. He's so worried about that this Palestine situation will cause him his personal seat, that he's not allowing the people in Egypt to protest. Erdogan, who a lot of people look up to, who was hoping to normalize ties with Israel, finds it very inconvenient that this has happened. Iran does nothing but says a lot of words. Iran was also hoping to normalize the ties in the region. But the question I have for you, how come an ummah of 1.7 billion people cannot get one bottle of water into Palestine? What is the reason? Is it because we don't have political clout? That we're so helpless? When the Saudi prince was personally attacked by the Canadian government, he cut off ties. When Biden said we will make Mohammed bin Salman, will make him a pariah, what did he do? He lowered the production of the oil. When there is a will, there is a way. And so all the Arabs come together in their conferences and they talk, and you're hoping someone will do something. Did Israel have conferences before they did what they did? No. Okay, so Muslims, they come together and they have their conferences, and what do they come up with? Zero. A flat tire. Just a flat tire. A tire that will take them nowhere. Because they're all worried about themselves, their own seats, what their own public is thinking, and how they can quell their own public opinion. The fact that Sudais is saying this, the fact this is being said from the member, shows that MBS is more concerned about quelling the Muslim opinion than actually doing something about Palestine. That the conversations he's having is not about what should Israel be doing or not doing or how can we help Palestine, but the conversations he's having is how can we stop this from becoming a problem for us. This is the same Saudi Arabia that's been begging Jordan to give Al-Aqsa to them because they have the Haramain, so now they want Al-Aqsa too. Sisi also, like I said. So what is it about the Ummah? Those of us in the West, those of us all across the Muslim world, what is it that our du'as are not being accepted? What is it that our du'as are being thrown back to our faces? What is it? Is the problem only the Muslim leadership? Or is the problem bigger than that? Is the problem we're not educated? We don't have enough intellectuals? We don't have enough money? All the resources of the world are under the feet of the Muslims. Oil is under the Muslims. Copper under the Muslims. You name it is under the feet of the Muslims. This is one of the reasons the Muslim world is in fitna. That Allah put the resources under the feet of the Muslims. And when the Muslims are not strong, well, they're going to be attacked. Left, right, and center. And the problem education? Is the problem the Muslim leadership only? Is the problem our money, our financial situation? What is the problem? That 1.7 billion people is not being allowed by the divine, by Allah. Not being allowed to even put one bottle of water in Gaza. Dear brothers and sisters, that is how weak your du'as have become. That your du'as will not even put one bottle of water in Gaza. Because all the solutions you're thinking about, they're secular solutions. Even the Muslims can't come together and say, will you leave the United Nations? We won't be part of the United Nations. We'll tear up our contracts with the United Nations. They can't say, we'll leave the banking system. They can't do anything. They're helpless except for how to save their seats. And the average Muslim, don't cry over the people of Gaza. Oh, don't waste your time. Allah has already given them an excuse. Cry over yourself that your du'as are not accepted. Cry over yourself that you can't read Quran every day. Cry over yourself that you can't pray every day. Cry over yourself that you will be asked about this situation on the Day of Judgment, and you will have no answer. That why 1.7 billion Muslims can't put one bottle of water in Gaza. The problem is not just the Muslim leaders. The problem is you and me. What does the Quran tell us? أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْدِ الْكِتَابِ. If you believe in part of my book, وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْدِ, and you reject some other parts of my Quran, فَمَا جَزَاءُ مَنْ يَفْعَلُ ذَلِكَ مِنْكُمْ. What can be the reward of the people that take to this attitude? إِلَّا خِزْيٌ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا, except they're put to extreme humiliation in this world. وَيَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ يُرَدُّونَ إِلَىٰ أَشَدِّ الْعَذَابِ, and they return to a more severe punishment in the hereafter. Do Muslims have yaqeen Islam is the truth? Do the Muslims have yaqeen that Allah is all powerful? Do the Muslims have yaqeen that Islam is haqq? Do the Muslims have yaqeen that Allah will give them nusrah? No. Muslims because we are born Muslims. Otherwise we love the West. We want to hate Israel, but act like Israel. I didn't say this. The Prophet said this, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You will follow the Jews shibran bi shibr, handspan by handspan, and if like a lizard, if a lizard goes into a lizard's hole, you will go into the lizard's hole. If one of them had intimacy with their mother, you will have intimacy with one of you will have the same thing. Where is your dua? Why is your dua? If the problem is only the leadership, then why is your dua not being accepted? Dua, is it real or not real? Does Allah accept? Because ultimately what happens in the destiny of nations and in the destiny of the ummahs, the decisions are not made on earth, they are made in the heavens. Where are you in the scale of that? Can you improve by 1%? If you want the lives of the people of Gaza mean something, then make the niyyah that Allah, I'll become 1% better Muslim. I'll do one thing from now on. I won't have hatred in my heart or grudge in my heart against any Muslim brother or sister. Maybe then your du'as will be accepted. Because du'as are not accepted if a person holds grudges against another Muslim brother. Maybe you can decide that I will stop riba, because whoever takes riba, what did Allah say? The biggest crime of them all. فَأَذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. How is Allah going to help you when your own bank accounts are all taking riba, your business is on riba, your house is on riba, and you think Allah will accept your dua? Your dua is not worth one bottle of water in Gaza. Wake up. Wake up. You have to realize the day of judgment is just around the corner. It's just around the corner now. The day of judgment is around the corner. If you don't change now, harder and harder times, Allah's punishment is coming. And the Jews don't deserve Allah's punishment first. No. Muslims deserve Allah's punishment first. Because the Muslims are the one who betrayed their own brothers and their own sisters and their own daughters and their own mothers. So, وَيْلٌ لِلْعَرَبِ, woe upon the Arab, بِشَرٍ قَدْ اِقْتَرَبْ, because of the evil that has approached them. And the Prophet says, a hole has been made in the wall of Ya'juj and Ma'juj. Ya'juj and Ma'juj are sitting there for those people that know. They're sitting there to punish the Arab leadership. But you will never have yaqeen in that. You'll think you'll actually save your seats. And as long as you're interested in saving your seats, you will not have courage. And as long as you don't have courage, the punishment's definitely coming. Because Allah will send them against you to punish you one by one. Not only the Muslim leaders have betrayed the Ummah, but we have betrayed the Ummah. We have betrayed the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We're the ones who don't read Quran. We're the ones who don't have the noble character of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Don't cry over the Palestinians. They're in the front line of this. They're in a much better position. But cry why your du'as are not being accepted. Why our hearts are not united. Why are you not in a jama'ah? Why are you not calling for khilafah? And some bozo out there is going to say, oh, Muslims shouldn't call for khilafah. There is no solution other than the establishment of the Khilafah. Because the establishment of the Khilafah is the establishment of the Islamic armies. And what this situation proves, that there is no Muslim Islamic army. those people who have been kicked out of their houses, those people that have been oppressed, those people who have been crying. And 1.7 billion Muslims can't put one bottle of water in Gaza. And some bozo is going to tell you everything is fine. Muslims are doing fine. Our hospitals are running fine. Fix yourself. 1%. 1%. Get ready for death, because it's coming very soon on all of us. 1%. Can you improve by 1%? Increase your prayer by 1%. Increase your Quran by 1%. Increase your ikhlaq by 1%. Increase the purification of your heart. Do something. 1%, 2%, 3%. Can you do something? Just stop blaming the Muslim leaders. The Muslim leaders are there because you have not been able to pull them down. And the reason you've not been able to pull them down is why? Because Islam is not your priority. Being in a Jama'ah is not your priority. Having an Amir is not your priority. Enforcing Islam in society is not your priority. Enjoining good and forbidding evil is not your priority. And when that is no longer the priority, and when wrong things happen, your face doesn't get red, is not bothering you that wrong things are happening around you, then you will sink with everyone. You will sink. Does it bother you that the level of homosexuality, and I don't know how many pronouns there now, he, she, they, it, all that, does it bother you that this is happening? Does it bother you that your children are having this education? Does it bother you that you're involved in riba? Does it bother you that you don't enjoy doing ibadah? That you don't enjoy doing prayers? Does it bother you that you can't do anything to help your brothers and sisters? Does it bother you that you live your life doing nothing but your own self-preservation and your family is your only priority? Does it bother you that your life is nothing but meaninglessness? 1.7 billion Muslims. 1.7 billion Muslims. And not one bottle of water in Gaza. What else do you want Allah to say to you about your state? What else do you want Allah to tell you, to show you, to inform you about the state you're in? Saudi is more concerned about an internal rebellion. Sisi more concerned about an internal rebellion. Erdogan had to change his statements from, oh, we are neutral in this situation, to, oh, I will not deal with Netanyahu. Iran, complicit without being complicit, because it has to live up to its legendary idea that Iran stands up to these bullies. So, tell me, the only thing that happened in the Arab Summit that was very strange is that all these Arab countries were opposing Syria. Saudi Arabia opposing Syria. Sisi opposing Syria. Even Erdogan opposing Syria. Even sent his forces into Syria. Everybody's opposing Syria. Now they have to accept Hafiz Assad as they were not able to overthrow him. They had to accept, we can't overthrow him, so now he'll be part of the Arab Summit from which he was kicked out of. When the Muslims were being killed and butchered by the Crusades, it was the students from the schools of Imam Ghazali, the students of Sahih Bukhari, and the institutions set by the teachings of Imam Ghazali that created Salahuddin Ayyubi. If your foundations are not pure, if your foundations are not good, if your purification has not been done, if your self-transformation has not happened, then your du'as will be thrown back on you. You can have all the money you want. You can have all the oil you want. You can have all the resources you want. You can have all the PhD you want. You can have all the education you want. You can have all the numbers you want. 1.7 billion in numbers. You can have everything you want. But if you don't have Iman, you can't put one bottle of water in Gaza. Even if you're 1.7 billion people, your value will be, like the Prophet said, the value of the foam on the sea. The value of the foam on the sea. What would become of you when your value in the world would be like the foam of the sea? What will you do then? 1.7 billion Muslims, including you and me, and we can't put one bottle of water in Gaza. Who should you be crying? Who should you be crying for? Should you be crying for them, or should you be crying for yourself? أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.